Hi everyone, Kimberly Lebbing here, and if you were waiting for me, I apologize. I was having a little bit of tech issues here, and so had to switch things up and go live from my phone. So I apologize for that. If you are here today, I am talking about how I helped a business owner get rapid results in 4 hours that accelerated her actions, increased her sales by 68%, and she was able to rapidly scale her business. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about some of the things that she was going through, why she came to me, and then also I'm going to share my process with her and exactly how all that played out, and then go into a little more detail about her results. So if you are on today for the first time and listening to me today, my name is Kimberly Lebbing. I am a success and mindset coach. I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are stuck or struggling, wanting to get to that next level, and they haven't figured out what it is that's holding them back. I've got a unique process that fixes the problem in 4 hours or less. So thank you again for joining me today. I first want to talk about, and hopefully you'll be able to see this because of the phone angle and everything. I want to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind and how that works and give you a little background. So this particular business owner came to me because she wanted to scale her business. And she had been wanting to scale her business for 3 or 4 years. I'm honestly not even exactly sure if I have that right, but well, let's say the last few years she's been wanting to scale, and she was not taking the steps to do it. She knew what to do, but she wasn't taking the action. So that's number one tip. Like, if you know whether or not you have a mindset problem or whether you have a strategy problem, that's a big flag. Like, because she knew what to do, but she wasn't doing it. So if you know what to do and you're not doing it, that's a mindset problem. If you're doing the actions and you're not getting anywhere, that's probably a strategy problem, and that's a different kind of coach. So anyway, subconscious mind. So when she came to me, because she wanted to scale, and she thought her problem was that she had a fear of success, specifically fear of success, and I believe confidence was one of the things that she was also struggling with. So I'm going to draw for you, so hopefully you can see on here a little bit. We're going to pretend like this is an iceberg, and please forgive me for my drawing. I'll apologize ahead of time. So we'll pretend this is an iceberg here, and here's our water. Okay, you guys see that okay? Okay, like I said, don't grade me on my art. However, our subconscious mind is 90%. It is responsible for 90% of our behaviors. So that's huge. Your behaviors, your decisions, everything you do is in this 90% range that's down here. Everything else, all the conscious stuff, so we'll say this is our conscious level stuff up here. That's everything else that we want. These are the things that we want to do. I want to scale my business. Consciously, I want to scale my business. Consciously, she was trying to do that, but this right here is what was driving the behavior. So with our conscious mind, that's what people don't understand. They want to make changes, and they want to make to the business or scale or have better relationships. But usually we're dealing with stuff on the conscious level. And like I said, she thought her problem was that she wasn't even sure that she knew what to do. But I could tell within a couple of minutes of talking to her, she knew exactly what to do. She just wasn't doing the steps. And it came down to confidence And what we uncovered, instead of fear of success, what we uncovered for her was trust. So subconscious, so let's talk about the subconscious mind. So that's here. I'm going to write on this side so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so this is the subconscious mind. So her trust that was a problem. We'll just mark that here. Here's trust. There was a little bit of fear in there. So here's fear. Maybe, for some people, some of these things that keep and hold us back, maybe there's some guilt there. Guilt and people pleasing, and making decisions. So we'll put guilt here. We'll go ahead and add in sadness. And we'll add in shame. Shame is a big one for a lot of people. But let's pretend, let's pretend 90% of our behavior is driven by these emotions, these core things. And those are things that have happened to us. And it's our perception. It's what drives everything. So when you have these things happen to you in your past, out of those things, we end up deleting. We delete, we distort, and we generalize. So I'm going to explain. So you have these goals that are up here on the conscious level. But what happens is these goals go through this filter, through this iceberg underneath subconscious level, and all of these things are lingering there. And out of that, we delete, distort, and generalize the information. So out of this is where we get our behaviors and our decisions. So for her specifically, this was a big problem. It was the big problem. And that's actually the very first step in my process, is identifying what is the problem. And for her, that was the big, it wasn't the only problem, but that was the big one, trust. And if you think about trust just for a moment, because I think this is a problem for a lot of business owners that want to scale. So if you have trust problems, she actually said this. She had fear of taking on more, or actually, she would take on more than what she really should have been doing, and it was stressing her out. And it was because she didn't trust. She didn't trust that anybody else could do it. She said that when she walked into one of her businesses and saw it was hard for her to hold back and not interfere and take over situations when she knew well and good that one of her employees could handle it. And that goes back to this, because her view, her perception of the world was, I guess, altered because of something that had happened. And out of that trust, it was driving her behavior. That was driving her behavior. So she was distorting information, and that was driving her behavior, and that's how she was making her decisions. And this affected her ability to scale. It limited her, because you can only do so much. If you have to do all of it, everything, you can only take on so much, because you can't do everything, right? You can't. And you most certainly can't trust. If you don't trust, there's no way you can scale. There's no way that you can build a team that way if there's not trust. So that's kind of those were the problems that she was having that we uncovered during the process. So she wanted to step in when it wasn't necessary, and she was just really overloaded and stressing her own self out. And then she couldn't even see how it was possible to scale because she couldn't see anybody else doing the things that needed to be done besides her. And this is something that I think is common with business owners, specifically with scaling. So the second part of this is identifying the problem. Identifying the cause, like what caused the problem. So during my process, I work with the subconscious mind. So what I do is I take these subconscious things and we bring them up here. We bring them up to the surface so that we can deal with them. Because, and one of the things, I even had to go back and look at my notes. One of the things that she said when I asked her, how have you been dealing with this up until now? She said she ignored it. Well, how many of us ignore the problems that we have? We ignore it and then we don't deal with it, and it just stays under here where we think it's not a problem, but it really is. Because this is 90% of what you do is under this surface. So I hope you guys can see this. I keep doing this with the camera, and I apologize. It's just the phone. My camera wasn't working on my laptop, with Facebook anyway. Okay, so the core emotions are down here. So with what I do, we work with core emotions, and we store these things like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, sometimes hurt. We store them in a part of our brain called the Gestalt. And in the Gestalt, these are the things that happen to us like before the age of 7. Usually, not always, and I'll explain, but usually these things that are down here are things that have happened to us a long time ago. And the way this works is whenever you can get to the first time that one of these issues came up, it works like a domino effect, because then you're able to see clearer for all the other events. So I use this analogy. I'm like full of analogies today, right? But the glasses, I use this a lot. So when you have like all this, a trust issue come up or an anger issue come up or whatever it is, and you pretend like those are splotches on your glasses, every time you get a splotch, you don't see clearly enough to make decisions. Your behavior is off. Like everything is off because you're not seeing clearly. And whenever you're able to bring these things up to the surface and actually really deal with them and resolve them, then it's like you took the glasses off and you like cleaned them, and then you're able to put them back on and you can see clearly and you can make clear decisions, and you don't have any of these things that from the past. It's still going to drive your behavior, but because I'll get into this, because we're working with the subconscious mind, we're able to shift the way you're storing them subconsciously. And in that way, you can see clearer, and we can have this working for you instead of against you. Because I'll take these off. What happens with business owners and entrepreneurs, whoever that I'm working with, what happens is they have these goals that are up here, but their subconscious is working against them. They don't match. Their core values or core beliefs are actually here, even though they want these things that are out here, these big goals. So when those things don't match, that's when we get behaviors and decisions that are almost like you can't control it, because this is what's controlling it. I hope that makes sense. So for her, we identified the problem of trust. The next part was identifying what caused it. And so we work with the events that happened in the Gestalt with these core emotions. And then we find I'm able, so during my process, I have a way of asking questions and being able to help people really identify what it was really pretty quickly, 4 hours, right? Identify what it was. And then sometimes, and this was the case for her, sometimes there's another event or something that was maybe really, really traumatic that maybe there's still a little bit of a trust issue. And we did this with her. She had something that happened, high school age, and we were able to go back and change her perception of that event. And so I'll explain a little bit. So we did get to the root cause. That's my process. Identify what the problem is, then get to the cause, what caused it, or when it first occurred. And then third part is really fixing it. And whenever we fix it, what I mean by that is we take these things and we discover, what did we learn from it? What can we take with us? What can we take with us from these things and bring them up here to the conscious level so that these are no longer a problem? Because we can have solutions or learning or insights. I mean, there's so much wisdom even from things that went what we would perceive as wrong, right? So we're always learning. That's like entrepreneurship 101. What did you learn from that mistake that you made, right? So same concept, but we're working subconsciously. So whenever you're able to fix these things at the subconscious level, remember the delete, distort, generalize right here. Whenever you are able to turn these, so let's say we turned this lack of trust into trust. We turn this fear, I'm just throwing words out. Maybe we turn this fear into love. Maybe we turn this guilt into empowerment. Or maybe the sadness we turn to joy. And the shame, maybe the shame we turn into, confidence. I'm really giving you the short condensed version of this, but let's say we turned all these things into positive things. Well, now when you go through this filter of deleting, distorting, and generalizing, your behaviors and your decisions are different. And they're different right away. For some people, this process, most people, you see things happen immediately when you work with this process. For some people, it's a little bit over time. For most people, it's a combination of both. So for her, this is so cool. Literally afterwards, immediately afterwards, she felt more confident. The trust issue, she felt like it was gone, like immediately. In fact, she started interviewing people in order to scale within 3 days of our session. Within 3 days. Within the next couple of weeks, she had, I think 3 employees hired. I'm not sure about the time frame, but it was all this has been since August, right? So she's got 3 new employees. She's writing a book. She's writing a training manual so that she can bring on even more help and employees to help her build and scale. And that's on track to, she's actively doing it and very, very, very focused, extremely focused. Well, and then a couple of nights ago, I had been messaging with her just to see how things were going, because I like to, check in on people, and her business, her sales have increased by 68% since August, since working with me. So all of these things, it's like the proof is in the pudding, right? All of these things, because we were able to switch the way she was storing these old things that were weighing her down, the weight underneath the surface, the stuff that's holding you back and holding you down, all that, we were able to switch the way she stored it. She's now looking through clear lenses and able to make the decisions, and her behaviors have changed. And she didn't have to go through reading a manual or going to a seminar to learn how to do this or that. I mean, of course, she's getting help if she needs it. If there's an area that she doesn't know about, she's getting the help she needs. But a lot of the things that she wanted to do, she already knew what to do. Or the people that she needed to help her with scaling were already there in her network. She didn't see them before. They were there the whole time. But because of all this muddled stuff that she had, she didn't see that they were there. But they were there the whole time. That's what happens. That is the power of working with the subconscious mind and going through and shifting these things, because all of a sudden it seems like, oh, magically, this appears and this appears and my business and this opportunity happens. But it's not magic. It was there the whole time. You just didn't see it because you were looking through the dirty glasses. You were weighed down by the things that weren't able to move you forward. So that's my case study today of a business owner that really got great results in just 4 hours. We only did one session, and she really she accelerated her actions. She got into action right away, increased her sales, and her business is booming. So I'm really excited for her. If this is something that you'd like to look into, message me. We'll hop on a call. I do a 45-minute discovery call, and we'll see if it's a good fit. I only work with people that are, one, serious about wanting to change, and two, I don't work with people that I don't think I can help, and I have turned people away. So if I don't think that they're there yet, or they're truly invested in them, because usually it's more about that. It's more about whether they are ready. If they're kind of sick and tired of being where they are, those are the people that I like to work with. So message me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being on, and thank you for being patient with the narrow camera today. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.